Welcome to Rewiring Health. If you're a high-achieving woman feeling trapped in the endless cycle of guilt and exhaustion from always putting others first, then this is your sanctuary. I'm Dr. Kelly Kessler, your dedicated empowerment mentor, and I'm here to tell you that it's time to reclaim your peace, health, and happiness. Imagine waking up every day feeling energized and unapologetically living for yourself. Together, we'll break down the walls that have been holding you back and unlock the vibrant, unstoppable force that you truly are. It's time to put yourself first, embrace your authentic self, and live a life that's not just endured, but celebrated. Now let's dive in. Have you ever noticed your skin reflects your stress? I used to struggle with mine, dry, dull, reactive, until I started pairing nervous system regulation with products that actually honor your body. That's why I love Milk and Butterflies. They handcraft every formula with 100% organic ingredients and powerful aromatherapy oils. They aren't just products for your skin, they're rituals that restore hydration, resilience, and calm even in the busiest seasons of our life. You can try them for yourself and feel the difference. Head to Milk and Butterflies and use my promo code Dr. Kelly for free shipping. That's DRKELLY for free shipping. Also, check out the link in the description for the podcast. I am so incredibly honored to have Lynn Hardy on the podcast today. Lynn is a powerhouse, and what I admire about her is that she goes after what she wants in life. She is so grounded in herself and knowing what she wants and stands true to herself in everything that she endeavors. This is such a powerful conversation and will leave you inspired to go after your dreams and reinvent yourself. Lynn Hardy is an actor and producer, featured in the film Vases and co-producing Magdalena's Land, where she also plays a lead role. She returned to acting at 55 after a successful business career and is the founder of The Aging Games, a wellness platform empowering women to age with vitality and purpose. She is also a two-time best-selling author and experienced podcaster. Lynn is currently writing her third book on natural menopause. Lynn is a wealth of knowledge and she shares so much incredible insight in this episode. Well, welcome, Lynn, to the podcast. I am so honored to have you on, and I can't wait to dive into everything we're going to talk about today.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I'm really honored to be here. This is my first podcast. You know that?
I did not know that. Oh
No,
my
I've
gosh.
always been on the other side, so you're putting me in the hot seat.
Oh, I love that. Well, I'm sure it's going to be awesome, just what we get into today, and I'm honored to be your first podcast that you're on.
Thank you so much. I look forward to it.
Yeah, well, what connected me? I mean, I was on your amazing podcast, the Rewilded Human podcast, so
Yes,
definitely check that out. But what connected me with you is just like your messaging of how you can reinvent yourself at any age. And I think this is something that so many of us need to hear, no matter what age we're at. We're always reinventing ourselves and having that permission to do so and allowing ourselves to do that. Can you talk about your journey of reinvention and what led you on that
absolutely.
path?
Absolutely. I'd love to. As for many people, the pandemic was life-changing for me. Before that, we were happily retired. We have sold our businesses. We were just traveling, living our best lives, and it was great. And people like in the past always told me, oh, you're still going to do great things. You're going to write books. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. But I'm like, no, I won't. I'm really enjoying my life. I just love the freedom of, not being tied down with work. And I just feel like I've paid my dues and I want to live my life. And then the pandemic came and we were in Spain at the time and they locked us into our house for months. And that for me was absolute torture. I've never been like that before. Like I'm out, I'm doing my 20,000 steps a day. I'm an outdoorsy girl. So to be locked inside a house was absolute torture. And I wanted to do something creative and something that would like really take me out of my comfort zone. And this is when I decided to start a YouTube channel, which was like crazy for me because I was not comfortable on camera at all. And I was like shaking when I was like making my first videos. I was so terrified. It was so uncomfortable, but I felt like I needed to do something uncomfortable. And then I started the YouTube channel. I thought, well, now I'm getting all these followers. I need to sell them something. I'll write a book. So, this is all still happening in 2020. So I'm writing a book. Then I need to start a Facebook and also an Instagram account. And it all just kind of tied in together. and everything just started growing. And then next year, okay, we're still kind of locked up, not locked up. We didn't really have our freedoms back. Then I write another book, put a video program together, and everything keeps growing. And I'm like, okay, this is crazy. Like, what? I'm an influencer now? Like, what's happening? It's just so strange. And fast forward to 2025, to this year, which like crazy things are happening to me right now. And this is just to tell you guys to never give up your dream.
Mhm.
So when I was younger, growing up in Canada, I did some modeling and some acting, and I loved it. And I had like this crazy, jealous ex-boyfriend who would lock me in the house when I had auditions, and he just made my life hell, and tried to make me feel very uncomfortable. And why do you need to be an actress and blah blah blah, even though that was my dream. And then we woke up, and I had a full-time job. I put everything on the back burner. I never really thought about acting again. And earlier this year, I saw an ad on Facebook that they were looking for actors here in Gibraltar, where I live. And I went and I auditioned, and I just thought for fun, like I've never in a million years did I think I was going to get the part, but I really prepared for it and everything, and um, and I ended up getting the part. And it was a horror movie, and it was just amazing, like after 30 years or 35 years almost, to step back on the set and to be in a movie and to have this amazing role and to be filming with these incredible people. I mean, I just never imagined that I would be doing this in my life. And after this, I saw another opportunity, which was in nearby Spain. So again, I applied. I got not only the job as an actress, but also ended up co-producing the movie. So I got really involved in the whole movie and the production. I had a much bigger role. So in all of June, I was filming, all of July, I was filming. And now I'm actually, I have these plans to make my own movie.
That's awesome. Oh
So
my gosh.
it's really crazy that all of these things and all of these opportunities just came out of maybe something really bad that happened, the pandemic, that kicked my butt into doing something completely different. And this is like, people tell you, well, you're 55, oh, you need to chill, you need to settle down, have grandbabies, start knitting booties for your grandbabies. And here I am living like every person's dream life, doing podcasts, making movies. It's just incredible.
It's amazing. And I admire your willingness to say yes to yourself and move into those opportunities, even though they were uncomfortable. And just to see like how far you've come in that time you're sharing when you're like afraid to talk on a YouTube video to now you're making movies. I mean, that's just a testament to how much you can evolve in just 5 years' time. So it's amazing.
Absolutely.
And it's
One of my favorite quotes in the whole world is, aging is nothing but the aggressive pursuit of comfort. The
mm,
more we seek comfort, the faster we age.
so true. Oh my gosh, yes. And it's like, just that pandemic makes everybody go uncomfortable, but it made a lot of us move. And it's like, you're so right. When you're comfortable, you're not going to move. And then you start to lose that spark. We're meant to always evolve and grow. And I think that stagnicity that we experience definitely keeps us in that perpetual cycle of feeling like we're wanting more in life. Yeah.
Absolutely. I just saw something that the average person, once they reach the age of getting their pension, excuse me,
Mhm.
they end up living like for 8 years to enjoy their pension.
Wow.
Sorry,
Oh
give
my
me 1 second.
gosh. Yeah, it's amazing too. Like, I mean, I've heard so many stories too, people, you work your whole life and then they finally retire and then they usually get like a health diagnosis
They
right
get sick,
after that.
yes,
And then,
exactly.
thinking
So
that would
because
be
you need a
the,
purpose, if you don't have a purpose in life and you
yeah.
wake up in the morning and there's nothing to wake up for,
Hmm.
then what's driving you? What's keeping you alive?
Hmm. Exactly.
And it's never too late to find a new purpose.
Yeah.
I shared a model. She was 72 when she became a model.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
72.
That's
Like,
amazing.
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's like so powerful to hear those stories because for anyone who's listening and then maybe you're 45, 55 or whatever it is and you're hearing this, you're like, "Oh, well, I can't." But then you hear this like someone at 72 is reinventing themselves. Like, why can't you? And
Absolutely.
I'd love to get like
Absolutely.
deeper into that because I'm sure along your journey, nothing is linear, but were there moments of like self-doubt? Were there moments of like, what am I doing? How do I get there? Can you talk about
Oh
some of
yeah.
those
Oh yeah,
moments,
all the
the ebbs
time,
and
all the
flows?
time. And also like growing my Instagram page was, and you're always comparing yourself to others, right? So when I first started my Instagram page and I was following big pages who had 100 or 200,000 followers, And it was just unimaginable for me to ever reach that point. And I
Mhm.
would look at them in admiration and think, okay, well, that could never be me. I could never do that. Like, I don't have that in me. Obviously, they have something very special about them. And I would also look at YouTube channels like that. But then I realized, they're also just human beings, the same as I am, trying to reach an audience, same as I am. And ultimately, especially with social media, YouTube, all of these things, podcasts, you just got to be yourself,
Mhm.
and be yourself, authentically yourself. And you're right, the right people will find you and they'll resonate with you. I think it's when you're trying to put on sorry,
That's okay.
losing
Yeah.
my voice. I had
No
so many
worries.
Zooms and everything
I'm
today.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure you've been talking, especially with all the movies. I'm
Sorry.
sure your voice
Normally,
has
I don't have
been.
such a busy day. Today was a very busy one. So,
Yeah.
it's like people who think that you can't do anything at this age, and that it just because it's possible for someone else, you don't have something special to give. But as long as you're true to yourself, your tribe will always find you.
Yeah, yeah, it's a powerful message because it's such a trap I think that many of us can get stuck in of like I have to appeal to everybody. I have to be
Yeah.
that person, a self-sacrificial, and it really is the
No.
more you know yourself, you're magnetic versus like trying to
Yes,
push it onto people. You draw people in, and there's so much power
absolutely.
to that.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but sometimes I post quite controversial stuff.
Mhm.
And and people get really upset with me, and a lot of people leave. So I'll lose like thousands of followers when I post
Yeah.
something they don't like. And I'm fine with that,
Mhm.
because I want people who resonate with my message, who are open to hearing the truth. Excuse me,
Yeah.
open to hearing something different. I
Yeah.
want those people to find me, not just
Mhm.
anybody, not just follow me because they saw a funny video from me that they liked or something like that. I want them to understand my message. I want them to change their lives. And if they're not willing to do that, then that's fine. Then we're not a good fit.
Mhm.
And I don't
Yeah.
take it personally. I think it's really important when you're out there and you put yourself out there. And that's the biggest fear everyone has. You put yourself out there, all the negativity, the nasty comments, and all of that stuff, like how to deal with that. That's always a challenge for people. And
Yeah.
and you just got to grow thick skin, speak your
Mhm.
truth, and just do it.
Absolutely. And I find too that sometimes when you are evolving and growing, it it brings out something in other people who maybe don't feel that in their life, and then
Yeah,
it becomes triggering to them. So it's not necessarily about you, but it can almost be a reflection of like, oh my gosh, I'm not going where I want to go in my life. And then sometimes that does come out in like anger or resentment towards others. So it's really important to differentiate like what's your energy versus what's someone else's energy and their own journey. But
absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
That's super important.
Mhm. You talked about like, initially like looking at other creators and
Mhm.
but then coming back to your own messaging and aligning with
Yes.
yourself. Can you talk about the differences and how you navigate that journey of like the external pressure, especially like aging? I know you talk about
Yeah,
health, the external pressure to look a certain way, act a certain way, do certain things
absolutely.
versus filtering it through what's right for you.
Yeah, it's a hard one because you think that only, teenagers or young girls are comparing themselves to others, and this is not true. We do that at any age. And you always think, oh, she's much fitter than me, she's much smarter than me, she knows much more than me. Of course, she's going to do much better than me. But I think ultimately you need to find your value in this world, find
Mhm.
what you're good at, and find your gift that you can give to others, especially when you're out there. And I think that my gift is quite unique. I always speak my truth. I'm never speaking to please anyone. I'm never speaking to gain more followers. Like I said, a lot of times I lose followers because if I talk about like obesity not being healthy, people get triggered. If I talk about alcohol not being healthy, people get triggered. If I talk about the sun being healthy or sunscreen being harmful, people get so upset. It's like I'm killing their dogs or something. They take it really, really personally, and they're not even open to listening to a different point of view. So I think that makes me very different from a lot of people. And you also, I'm 55, so you get to the point where you just don't care anymore. Like, can I swear here? If I can, I can just, you just don't give a,
Absolutely.
you
Go
just don't
for
give a
it.
shit. You just don't give
Yeah.
a shit anymore, like what
Hmm.
other people think.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not trying to please anybody.
Hmm.
Some of my posts, I do it because it just purely entertains me or my videos or
Yeah.
whatever. And if somebody doesn't like it, I really don't care anymore. I think
Hmm.
it's really powerful when you get to that point. Because I see people, even 60s, 70s, who are oh, and they want the approval of everybody and they want to be loved and accepted. And I mean, social media is all fake. It's even faker than the real world, right? So
Mhm.
why would you want the approval of someone that you'll never meet? That person doesn't matter. And just, yeah, I think it takes a while to get to that point and to
Mhm.
not let people get to you and to not fall for the thing that you need to be perfect. You need to have perfect hair, perfect makeup, perfect skin, Botox, fillers, all of that stuff. Because I think people resonate with you a lot more when you're real and when you're authentic. I
Mhm.
think people relate to that a lot more. And I'll jump out of bed. Like even now, I don't have any makeup on or anything. I didn't do any big preparation. You know, it's my message. It's not me or how I look. It's me
Mhm.
that I'm promoting or selling or giving to the world, right? So I'll jump out of bed in my pajamas, my hair messy, and I'll film a video and I'll post it, and I don't care. And I know a lot of people, they will not post a video unless it's absolutely perfect, perfect lighting, everything has to be perfect, and that holds them back because they're actually not posting or posting just one a month, and they're not able to grow because they're always looking for perfection. But I think the people out there, they're not looking for perfection. They're looking for real, they're looking for raw, and they're looking for people they can actually relate to.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like when you're trying to please everybody else, all you're doing is deluding yourself and you're not even pleasing yourself. So it's like, what is that? And then there's that emptiness that comes in through that when you're trying to fill everybody else's cup and you're leaving
Yes.
yourself empty over and over and over again.
Of
So I
course.
think
And as women, we've done that our whole lives, you
totally.
know?
Hmm.
We raised our families, we had to please
Yep.
everyone, be on good terms with everyone, do everything for everyone else. And
Mhm.
you get to this point where it's like, no, this is my turn. You know, it's my time now to do what feels right
Exactly.
for me. Oh, and I also, this year, because I didn't do enough things this year, I also studied quantum biology this year and became certified in quantum biology,
Oh my gosh.
which was
Awesome.
amazing and
Yeah.
absolutely life-changing for me. So to also go back to school at 55 and to study something so difficult because quantum biology is pretty
I'm sure.
complex.
Yeah.
And there were like lectures almost every night and trying to fit all that into my busy schedule. So this year has been crazy. But see, it's never too late to better yourself, go back to school, start a new hobby, start a new career, start a new relationship if you're in a stagnant, dead relationship that's been just dragging you down. I think a lot of women stay in these bad relationships just out of habit. But I also know a lot of women who start completely new lives at 50, 60, or even older. And, they meet new loves or they are happy being single, traveling the world, making connections. I think it's just so wonderful that we're living in a world right now where this is okay, where you're not looked down on if you want to be single at 60 and or you divorce your husband or whatever. Whereas in the past, we were like shunned for being different. You have to be a good grandma, good mama, and all this stuff. And now we have so much more freedom.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, so for so long, people are controlled by shame and even just shaming themselves because they think they're not meeting those expectations. And there's so much, quote safety, even though it's not really safe, but that safety that we feel when we are in situations that are familiar and there's a sense of certainty, even if it's not serving us. So there can be a lot of fear moving ourselves out of that, even if it is beneficial for us in the long term. And I'd love to hear your perspective on that and your journey in that. And you've done so many different leaps into the unfamiliar. Was that something that was innate for you, or is that something that you learned and you've cultivated in yourself?
Well, we've had an interesting life. We have lived in so many different countries, like, I don't know, 12, 13 different countries and moved around so much. So like starting over is in my blood and starting a new life every few years has been normal for us. So because of that, I don't really have that fear of the unknown,
Mhm.
which makes me a little bit braver to start doing new things. Like I started bouldering recently, and I love bouldering, which is also something really cool. And also, I did something when I turned 55 in March. I made a list of
Mhm.
55 new things that I want to try this year.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And as I'm doing them, I'm just marking them off the list. And I think I've done like 20 something already since March, which is really cool. But it's also a great way to like challenge yourself and to find new, exciting things to do. And then you can kind of tailor your life or your year around this. Okay, well, I still need to climb Machu Picchu or you know what I mean, or whatever.
Right.
And because you have all these, and they can be small things like just trying a different food from a different country or whatever. It could be anything that you want. But it's just amazing to put goals out there and to put stuff out into the universe that you want to do because once you put your dreams out there, whether with a uh, what do you call them? Dream boards, mood boards, no, dream boards, right?
The
Yeah,
vision, yeah,
vision boards.
vision
That's it.
dream,
Vision
yeah,
boards.
yep.
Yeah, vision boards or
Hmm.
anything. Like once you make it official and you put it out there, then the
Hmm.
universe starts to provide opportunities for you.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
love that.
but it all starts here.
Yeah, planning for that joy. We plan for everything else that we have to do, but like
Yes,
why not plan for that joy? So I absolutely love that. And it's like our brains then seek out those opportunities, which is so
exactly.
powerful. So yeah,
Exactly. And
is that
also while you're on vacation, like for
yeah.
example, I was away with my parents for a week
Hmm.
earlier this month, and it's still July, yes, earlier this month. Or is it August now
It's
already?
August 1st today.
Oh, it's
Yep.
August 1st. Okay, so it was in July.
Uh-huh.
And and I had this day, okay, I'm gonna relax today. I finished shooting the other movie. I'm gonna relax. I'm just gonna chill today. And then I saw these opportunities. You can go paddle boarding. I've never done that. I went paddle boarding. And then, oh wow, you can go jet skiing. I've never jet skied. Another one off the list, went jet skiing. And then they do sea kayaking here. So I ended up my rest day. I finished it off with a 3 hour sea kayaking
Oh
tour,
my God.
through the waves and everything. But I put three new things on my list and I marked three new things off my list. So it's like a great incentive to actually, instead of just, well, maybe I should have relaxed, but
Mhm.
instead of just being on vacation, for example, and doing the same old boring stuff you would always do, well, let's do a new challenge. And then you have more things on your list.
Mhm. I love that. And it's just like you're living life. Like that's what we're given a short period of time here. We have to live it and embrace it. And it's like we can get
Absolutely.
sucked in TV and watching other people live their lives with reality TVs and everything. But it's like,
Yeah,
when do we reflect? Like, did I live my life? Am I living my life to the fullest? What brings me joy? It's like we can get so disconnected from ourselves. We don't even know what we want to do or what inspires us or fills our cup.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And as you get older, you realize you are running out of time.
Hmm.
And you wanna live life to the fullest. Whereas other people just give up and I'm too old for anything, and they sit on the couch and they become too old for anything. Because if you stop moving, if you stop doing things that bring you joy, if you stop socializing, a lot of people just turn inwards. I mean, you know this, right? A lot of people just they give up and that's it. And then, the illnesses start to come
Hmm.
and there's no going back. It's hard to go back from that.
Hmm.
So I want
Yeah.
to prevent that. I want to be fit. I want to be healthy. I want to do crazy stuff. And
Yeah. Yeah. And just, yeah, I mean, you're doing it. I think you're a testament to what's possible for anyone who's listening. And like, even if you just take a little bit of that, like start to incorporate that in your life, what's possible for you and where you could be a year from now or 5 years from now. I mean, that's
absolutely,
huge. I think a lot of
absolutely.
times we can get stuck living the past of like, either reminiscing on the past or wishing the past was different, but the past is over. It's like only the future, well, currently what we have in the future to create is what we have in our power right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
For someone who's listening and they're saying like, hey, like how do I even start? Where would be a great place for them to start to integrate some of these? Like, is it the list or do they have to even get themselves in like a mindset or a space internally to start to move in that direction? What would you suggest?
Well, I would suggest starting with one step, one
Mm-hmm.
small step. And it's really, really important to be in good health. So I
Mm-hmm.
think the first step that I would take would be towards optimal health. Because if you're not feeling well, you don't want to do anything. You're not going to find the motivation. So I think it's really important to take care of the mind, body, and soul before
Mm-hmm.
you go out there and do anything else. Excuse me. So exercise is really important. And it's so important to be outside in nature because that changes everything, helps rewire your brain, walk. So get out in nature as much as you can. That's definitely my happy place. And when I need to like gather my thoughts, I take my shoes off, I'm grounded to the earth. That's the best way to reduce inflammation in the body. Walking helps to rewire your brain, to clear your thoughts. I always say, like, when you're walking in the forest, you can never have a negative thought. It just doesn't, it's impossible, as opposed to like walking around in a city. So make time for yourself, make yourself a priority. If especially if you've been looking out for everybody else, make yourself priority number one, because once you're healthy, you can take care of everyone else. Take good care of what you eat. Diet is really important. If you're feeding your body with junk, you're not going to be healthy. And give your body the respect that it deserves. And then after that, follow your joy. If you're at the point where, okay, you don't have to work anymore or you like your work or whatever, only do things that bring you joy. if you can, like I really try to make that in my every single day. Like if somebody asks me to do something, is this going to bring me joy? No, sorry, it's a no. And it's okay to say no to people.
Yeah.
And no is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain. Do you want to go out tonight? No. Right? You don't have to give a
Right.
big explanation. And that's something else that we have to learn, especially as women. But just do stuff that makes you happy.
Yeah. And along, because I can't agree more with everything you said. I'm totally in alignment with that. And as you're talking too about just talking about nature, I just watched a documentary called Earthing. And
Oh,
I'm
that's a
like,
good
oh my
one.
gosh, I love it. It has the science behind it and everything.
Yeah,
It's fascinating. But I mean, there's just so much power, natural power within our atmosphere and our
of
environment
course.
for healing that we don't necessarily need things outside of that. And it really is all here
No.
provided for us. So it's really powerful. And
Yeah.
with that, because I know you said no is that complete sentence. And I think what holds back a lot of people, especially people who listen to my podcast, is like, but what are the repercussions of that no, or like the shoulds or the have tos and the responsibility they hold on to for other things outside themselves? How do you let go of some of those? Like, and I totally agree, no is a full sentence, but how do you let go of
Yeah.
like, oh no, like what are the repercussions for me taking
Yeah.
care of myself?
Well, I think you have to stop people pleasing. We are brought up to be people pleasers.
Yeah.
And you really do get to a point where, like even if I lose relationships, friendships, even family,
Mhm.
I just don't care anymore because if they don't align with me and my frequency and they can't meet me on this level, then I just don't have time for them. I've spent so much time. I always attracted the kinds of really needy friends, who are emotionally unstable and they would literally suck the life out of you. I'm sure you know people like this, Kelly,
Totally.
right?
100%.
And
Yep.
they're so toxic and being around them, they feel amazing after spending time with you, but you go home and you're like, oh my God, I just want to
Right.
die.
Yes. You're recovering
And
for 3 days. Yeah.
yeah, and you have family members like that. And
Hmm.
now I just choose to distance myself from people
Yeah.
like that.
Hmm.
Sometimes with family you can't completely, but I will do it as much as I can. With friends, absolutely. I have, eliminated a lot of friends from my life. And I realize that I don't need a big circle of friends. If I have a couple of friends who support me, who understand me, who are on the same frequency as I am, and we lift each other up. And sometimes I'm down and they'll lift me up, but it's not that one person is constantly pulling the other person down. So
Exactly.
if anybody is listening to this and you find yourself in that situation, it's okay to get out. Like you don't owe anybody anything.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That reciprocal relationship is absolutely essential. It can't be one-sided, even though
No,
not always 50-50, but it all balances out when you're in a healthy relationship. And it's like I found the more you know yourself, the easier it is to decipher who's for you and who's not for you, and to
absolutely,
live more unapologetically with that. And I think there's so much
absolutely.
power just coming home to yourself and being like, I have a short life to live, and I'm going to choose to live it the way I want to live it.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
totally agree with that. Yes.
Mhm.
But it's important to get to that point and hopefully people
Yeah.
will be inspired to make those choices because your state of mind is everything and your peace of mind, that you have
Absolutely.
peace, that you have harmony in your soul. And
Mhm.
people can really scramble your frequency to a point where,
Totally.
it's not even your energy anymore. You're just absorbing the negative energy from everybody else. And nobody has time for that. Just
No,
don't, it's not good.
exactly. And I know I can so resonate with what you're talking about, like attracting the people pleasers and people who drain your energy. And it's like, I don't know if you have to get, because I feel like that too. I've had a lot of people like that in my life. I don't know if you have to get to that point where you're just like, I'm so sick of living like this. I'm not doing this anymore. I think
You
sometimes
do.
you almost have to get through that pain and seeing it for what it is to actually live in alignment with
Absolutely.
ourselves.
And then you know what happens when you get rid of those people and you change? All of
Yeah.
a sudden you start attracting different kinds of people. And all of
Mhm.
a sudden you're making friends who are actually lifting you up.
Yeah.
And you're lifting them up and
Mhm.
together you grow. It's like in a relationship. Like if you have a husband or a partner who is always dragging you down, pulling you back, not letting you live your dream, you kind
Mhm.
of you become a different person. Like I was saying with my ex who wouldn't let me do my acting, my modeling, and was always holding me back. I was a very different person. And then once we split up, I did a lot of work, a lot of inner work on myself to like get rid of all of that baggage that I carried for 8 years. And because of that, I changed. I changed a great deal. There was no internet back then, but a lot of self-help books and everything. They helped me so much. And as I became a different person, I attracted a different person. And that's my husband, still 30 days late, 30 years later, still here. And the amazing thing is that now with the acting, he is so supportive. So I
That's
get to
awesome.
relive my youth, which was like a terrible, terrible part of my
Mhm.
life. And now I get to redo this with someone who supports me, who's proud of me, who's behind me 100%. And it's amazing to relive that in such a nice way. But if
Yeah.
I didn't change, I would have kept attracting the same kind of person. You know, that if you change, then you attract a different kind of person. And
Exactly.
it's really nice to have the opportunity to relive something like that in a positive manner.
Yeah, and it's like that contrast of like knowing what wasn't good and having that ex that was not supportive. It's like those moments in your life that can really help you embody and be so grateful for when you do have someone supportive. So it's like you have to almost have both experiences in life to realize how special it is when you have
Absolutely.
someone like that in your life. So
Absolutely. And you know,
powerful.
I hear so many people who like carry the scars from their childhood, like, oh, my mama told me my voice is terrible, and I wanted to be a singer, so I never sang again. And
Hmm.
I find that so sad. Or, you know, they said I have two left feet and I wanted to dance, and it's my father's fault that I didn't become a dancer. And then they'll spend their whole lives blaming somebody else why they didn't live their passion. And I kind of call BS on that because, you know, you can look at it one way or another. You can either say, oh, okay, well, they told me not to do it because I'm not good, or you can say, you know what, I'm going to prove you wrong. And that's
Exactly.
up to you,
Hmm.
right?
Totally. It's like when you blame, you're just handing your power over to whoever said that to you. And it's like you can't control what happens outside yourself, but you always have the power to reframe it to work
That's
for
right.
you. And that's really where your power is. But I couldn't agree more because it is so many of those stories that we carry with us and they just stifle us. And for some people, a whole lifetime that'll stifle
Absolutely.
them from
Because they
them.
because they identify with the victim. So their
Right.
whole lives they need to play the victim, and they will never achieve anything because, you know, the grade 5 teacher said something to them, and they will hold on to that anger and to that resentment for the rest of their lives and
Mhm.
blame that person for their failure. But you know,
Absolutely.
when you get to a certain age, you need to start taking responsibility for your own life. I'm
Hmm.
sorry, like this is a bit of a hard truth, but I just, you know, I don't have any patience for the victim mentality. Like if your life sucks, then go and make it better. No one else is going to do it for you.
Yeah, and it's like not denying that things happen because bad things do happen to people. But
Everybody.
there's a big way to reframe that. I found one of the most powerful things is like go back to that version of you, that 8 year old or whatever, and how can you parent that version of you and give that version of you the emotional support that maybe he or she didn't have then, and then you can release that and reframe that. So there's so much power of like recognizing those moments, seeing that story replay over and over again, and be like, okay, how can I give that person what they needed so that they don't have to hold on to that story because they don't feel hurt.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, there's so much like in those things. But yeah, I mean, we have to realize our power. And when we are in a victim mindset, blaming and reliving stories of disempowerment from years ago, we're just keeping those cycles in place. And
Absolutely.
we can only guarantee that our life today will look exactly the same 5 years from now until we change it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, as humans, like we're blessed with this brain, right? But when you look at, like, for example, you look at dogs. One of
Mhm.
my little dogs had surgery, and she
Mhm.
didn't realize she had surgery, right? So we came home and she was running around, running up the stairs because she didn't know what happened. You know, a
Mhm.
human will have that kind of surgery and she'll be on the couch for months. Oh, poor me, you know. I'm dying. Oh my God, it's terrible. Or another friend's dog just lost an eye. So they sewed up her eye and everything, poor baby. But she went
Oh.
home and she's wagging her tail and she's happy because she doesn't know what happened. And
Mhm.
because we have this human brain where we overanalyze everything and we tend to live in the past so much of the time instead of the future and instead of in our joy, in our good place,
Mhm.
we have a lot to learn from dogs. Just the
Totally.
simplicity of living in the moment and
Hmm.
enjoying the
Yeah.
moment that is right now.
Absolutely. And I think I have two dogs too. And it's just like
Uh-huh.
there's so much love from them. And I think a big thing too we can learn from them is that unconditional love. Like even if
Yes,
things aren't perfect, quote perfect or exactly how you want them, like you can still love yourself unconditionally, just like they do. Like they don't care what you look like or how much money you have in the bank account. They just love you for you. And so yeah,
absolutely.
so much to learn from dogs. But yeah, you're completely
Absolutely.
right. It's like our minds can be our best friend or worst enemy. It's whatever we choose to
Exactly.
be for
I,
ourselves.
I, I saw this method of kind of shutting your brain up, and they say to name your brain.
Mm.
So, for example, you can say, because a lot of your thoughts, where did they even come from? Are they even your own thoughts, right?
Mhm.
So you
Right.
wake up and your mind is already going, oh, you look pretty fat in that dress and blah, blah. And you say, okay, Bertha, shut it. We're going to have an amazing day today. And,
Hmm.
and kind of that's like looking at your brain as like separate from you. Because in a
Hmm.
way it is, right? Because a lot of the stuff that comes, a lot of the information that's going on there and it's trying to process is not even your own thoughts. It's like it's coming from another world, or I don't know where it's coming from. So I thought that was like an interesting way to look at your brain and
Yeah.
to take control over it instead of
Hmm.
it controlling you.
Yeah, it almost allows you to have that like spatial separation from it. It's like when you have a nose that your nose up against a painting, you can't
Yeah,
see the full picture, but if you can remove yourself, be like, oh, I see it more clearly, and that's not actually my truth. And so yeah,
exactly.
so much power in that, and just recognizing like, a big thing I'll say is like you can come along for the ride because I'm not going to shut you up, but you can't sit in the driver's seat. I'm driving my car.
Exactly.
You can have a seat in the passenger seat, you can yap all you want back there, but you're not going to be steering my life. Yeah,
Exactly. I
there's a
love
lot of
that.
power in that.
Absolutely. No, we have the power. And that's what
Yes,
we got to realize, that we have the power.
absolutely. Yeah. One thing I want to just talk about because I love all your messages of self-care and how we can really prioritize ourselves and really like honor ourselves. How much does self-worth play into self-care when we don't realize maybe that we're not worthy of that, or as we start to elevate our worth, we welcome more self-care into our lives? Can you talk about how self-care has played a role,
Yeah.
self-worth rather, has played a role in your life?
Yeah, for sure. For sure the two are related,
Mhm.
very strongly related, because the more you value yourself, the more you will take care of yourself. And also the more you take care of yourself, the more you will value yourself.
Mhm.
So while we talk about self-acceptance a lot, and it's very important, but there's a limit, because now we're in a society where everyone's perfect, everyone is beautiful, perfect as they are, and you got to love yourself exactly as you are. And somehow self-care doesn't really fit into this. If you're
Mhm.
500 pounds, you're perfect as you are and don't ever change. And that's
Mhm.
not true. And even those people, I'll probably get a lot of slack for this, but those people that are severely overweight, obese, and they're saying, oh, I'm happy and I'm living my best life and I love it and I want to be like this. I don't believe they are truly happy on the inside, because I think in order to have a healthy soul and mind, you need to have a healthy body. I think those just go together. You cannot separate them. So I think in order to have self-esteem and self-value, it's really, really important to take care of your health.
Mhm.
And also, to take care of your appearance, because that is important as well. And, if gray hair makes you happy, fantastic. I'm all for, if you want to get Botox, okay, you do you, right? Even though I just did an interview yesterday with this lady with the Botox side effects. So,
Yeah.
wow, really
Oh my
scary
gosh.
stuff. So
Oh
anyway, but
wow.
anyway, everyone has their own choice, what they want to do, whatever makes them happy, right? But in the end, taking care of your health is number one.
Hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. It's like we were only given one body, and this is what is our tool right now to
That's right.
embody the soul that we're living here. And so it's like living it to the fullest does require honoring it in whatever that looks like for you. I mean, yeah, I completely
Yeah,
agree with like it doesn't have to look the same for everybody, but there is an honoring of yourself that does need to
of
happen and to
course.
live a fulfilled life.
Of course. I
Absolutely.
mean, if you love your child or you love your dog, you're
Hmm.
not going to feed it crap. You're not
Yeah.
going to just leave it inside the house and not walk it, right?
Mhm.
Because you love it. So you want to make sure it's getting exercise, it's getting
Yeah.
food. If we stay with the dogs, for example, right now, right? They get their vitamins, their nutrients, whatever, right? But we don't give that same respect to our bodies, right? Our
Hmm.
bodies also need movement. Like, for example, if you stop moving, you stop exercising, you're going to age very badly.
Hmm.
And it's going to be very hard on you emotionally, physically. You're going to get sick.
Mhm.
sitting now, they say, is more dangerous than smoking.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you need to move your body. We are not plants.
Absolutely. And
And
there's a big difference in between that self-acceptance, like accepting yourself for where you are, but also not being complacent. And that you can
exactly.
accept yourself for where you are today and also want better for yourself, want to experience life to the fullest and whatever that looks like for you. So yeah, I mean it's that growth evolution. Like we're meant to grow, we're meant
Yes.
to expand. Like the
Yeah,
minute, look at plants, the minute they stop growing, what do? They're
they
dying.
done.
So
Yeah.
you have to always be growing, moving towards that
Something.
something.
And
Yeah,
it's true.
something.
It's so true
Yeah.
for humans. If you are not growing
hmm
emotionally, physically, mentally, whatever, you are literally dying.
hmm
So that's a
Yeah.
really, really important thing to
Mhm.
emphasize.
Absolutely. And just to kind of wrap things up here, for someone who is listening and they're like, okay, I love it. I just want the smallest step that I can take today. What's something I can do today just to get myself into the groove of honoring myself and aging gracefully and reinventing myself? What would your message be to that person?
Well, my message is always nature.
Mhm.
That's where all the
Yeah.
answers are. You're not gonna find yourself staring at this blue screen,
Mhm.
scrolling, doom scrolling on Instagram or Facebook. Um, the first thing you can actually do, which will help other than getting outside,
Mhm.
is to stop following pages that are not making you happy, that are not lifting you up. Because we
Yeah.
spend way too much time on social media and we're following a lot of pages and people that are just bringing us down, or you're
Mhm.
comparing yourself to this influencer and it's actually pissing you off how amazing she looks and how amazing her life is. So if that's not bringing you joy, stop following those people and make your feed just a happy feed that you like going through. Get yourself outside. The sunshine makes everybody happy.
Mhm.
Take off your sunglasses, take off your shoes, soak in that vitamin D, soak in the red light that you get from the sun, the healing rays of the red light. When you're in a forest, the leaves, they don't absorb the red light from the sun, they reflect it onto you. So as you're walking in the forest, that's why it's so cool, and that's why you feel so rejuvenated and so healthy walking through a forest, because you're getting 3 to 4 times the red light therapy from the sun as you would without the forest, because the leaves are reflecting all this red light onto you, onto your body, which is
I love
amazing.
that.
It's healing. Like in Japan, they have sunbathing. The doctors will prescribe, not sunbathing, sorry, forest bathing. So you
Yeah.
actually go in the forest and you're bathing in the goodness in the forest. And they're
Mhm.
using this for cancer, for all kinds of things, which is
Mhm.
amazing. So I think if you really want to find yourself, that's the first place to look.
I love that. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And it's like so powerful, so simple, but yet so powerful in what the possibilities are for just
It is.
integrating that.
And
And
that's the most important thing that I learned in quantum biology, because I'm a naturopath, nutritional consultant, everything. So
Mhm.
I also studied homeopathy. So I always thought the solution was, okay, we need to eat, we
Mhm.
need to exercise, we need to take our supplements. That's it. Then we're done, right?
Mhm.
But no, it's all about light. Everything
Yeah.
is about light and frequency. And
Mhm.
until you fix your light and your frequency, it doesn't matter how healthy you're eating, how much you're exercising. If
Mhm.
you're lying in bed at midnight and you're scrolling on your blue lit devices and you're
Mhm.
not getting any sleep, you're not rejuvenating, you have the overhead lights on at night, you're not getting the morning sunlight, you're not getting sun exposure, you have sunglasses, so your body doesn't realize that it's sunny outside. I mean, if you don't have all of those things fixed first, and grounding, super
Yeah.
important. If you don't do those things, you can do everything else. It's not going to be enough. So this is
100%.
where it all begins. It all begins outside and it begins with nature, back to our roots, the way our grandparents, great grandparents, the way our ancestors lived. They had it right. Those crazy tree huggers and everything that we used to make fun of. That's
Mhm.
where it's at. That's where the joy is at. It's not at chasing the money, making more money, making connections, being famous. It's really about the small things that really
Yeah.
make the biggest impact in our lives.
100% right. Yeah, I mean, you can spend $1,000 in supplements, but if your nervous system is dysregulated, it's not going to absorb
Yeah, it
any
doesn't
of
do
it. It's not going to do
anything. And
anything. It's not
most
going
of
to
it is
heal.
crap. Like now I
Right.
realize it's all crap. The pharmaceutical companies have bought up all the supplement
Yeah.
companies and we don't even know what's in them anymore.
Right. Scary.
So,
Yeah.
there are people that are taking hundreds
Mhm.
of pills a day, thinking, oh, I'm doing something wonderful for my body.
Mhm.
No, take off your shoes, go outside. That's worth so much more than all this.
Yeah.
and you're spending thousands on supplements. And
Mm-hmm.
we had a supplement company, so I mean, I'm so it's
You've lived
but
it. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
no, that's not where it's at. It's I have such a different view on health now.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you so much for everything you shared. I think it's given so many people like just depth of understanding, but also like tactical things they can implement through their day to live a more vibrant life. So I'm so grateful for everything you shared. And for someone who want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Sure, they can find me under the Aging Games on every platform. It's all the same. My podcast is the Rewilded Human Podcast, which will be rebranded because I'm on my own now. It will be rebranded also as the Aging Games Podcast just to keep everything under one umbrella. You can check out my books on Amazon. I've got a new one coming out about natural menopause, which will be really good. Hopefully, it will help a lot of women and it will cover a lot of these things to do with quantum biology, which I think is really important for hormonal balance as well.
I love it. I'll put everything in the show notes. So definitely connect with
Thank
Lynn.
you.
I'm just so grateful for you being here today and everything you shared. I know it's going to make a difference in people's lives.
Thank you so much, Kelly. You're very sweet for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. And again, for anyone listening, if you got something from this episode, share it with somebody else so that we can just spread this value and allow other people to live with more joy and vibrancy in their life. So thank you so
Fantastic.
much.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. If there was something in this episode that really resonated with you or a message that stuck with you, please share it with someone else. It's only through sharing these messages that we can start to rewire our minds to feel empowered and live the life that we truly desire. Please subscribe so you never miss an episode. And again, thank you so much for tuning in to Rewiring Health.